All right, what's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes are back. We got another MMA fighter to talk to. This is another fighter from the PFL Challenger Series, so we're excited because he's a younger fella. Just getting to know him. First time meeting Thad Jean. How are you, Thad?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate that.
Awesome. We are excited to talk to you, and one of the reasons is because right now it's just past noon on the West Coast.
All right.
We woke up at 6 a.m. to talk to another PFL Challenger Series guy, and he was late, and we just sat there like, oh man, because rough night last night. But guess what? He was awesome, man. It made it all worth it, and this is why we had a good time, because we talked about everything but MMA.
Oh, there you go. Hey, look, those are the best talks. You can talk about something else.
So let's get it out there. You got Alequin coming up. He is your opponent. We're looking forward to that. You're a welterweight. I had to do a double take, by the way. And his fight, by the way, folks, is on January 27th against Eric Alequin at PFL Challenger Series 9. All the shows will be available on Fubo TV. I had to do a double take that because I was like, 6'2". Oh man, this guy. I wonder if this guy's a heavyweight or whatever. And then I like, what? Welterweight. Right away, I started thinking Anthony Johnson, part 2.
Exactly. And I do get those, like, when I'm walking down, like I walk around 200 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And, some people that I've known since I first started, and I was a welterweight before, and, I never walked around so heavy. I just started growing more into my, into my shell. But I go around and they're like, "Oh, you're 185, you're middleweight now," and I shock them when I tell them, "No, I'm still a welterweight." And like, "Man, how are you even cutting weight?" I'm like, I get it. I get down to it. If I have to cut it, then I'm gonna suffer through the weight cut, but I'm gonna make the weight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and may God rest his soul. Anthony Johnson no longer with us, but
true.
He had like this long career where even towards the end, a lot of people were acknowledging, what a great light heavyweight he was. He fought for the title. In the UFC and all that.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of skins on his wall, man. That guy KO'd a lot of people. But they forget that early on, like in 2007 or 8 or something like that, he was a welterweight. He fought Rich Clemente, who actually went down to 155, and AJ at one point fought at heavyweight. So that's an amazing picture if you can get them two together. But he struggled. He struggled to make 170.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say.
And so now my question to you is it an easy cut or is it tough?
I mean, I feel like all weight cuts are tough weight cuts, unless you're like, you're walking around the weight. But I wouldn't say it's a hard cut because I've done it many times before. But I would say, I guess my first fight back into when I went pro after the whole COVID thing, it was a hard cut. It was a tough cut from the first time. That was like a real shock to the body. And I was like, can I make this weight anymore? Like, is this me? Should I go up in weight? And then, the second weight cut was a bit easier. And, you just get used to it. And, I was able to make it the more I went. This is my 5th time doing the weight cut. So, and it's going to be I'm going against someone else. I'm definitely going to make sure I make that weight just to make sure that, even though I'm walking around 200, 6'2", and I'm pretty built, I'm still cutting weight to make these fights happen.
Thad, so let's talk a little bit about the amateur career to get here. What would you say, because you had a pretty extensive amateur career, what would you say was like the best lesson to prepare you as a professional that you learned there?
I think when I went against Roman Feraldo, that was he's in the Bellator now. He just suffered his first loss against some other dude. I forgot his name, but going against him was I would say the biggest lesson I ever learned, because, I was on a good streak. I was like, yeah, I'm untouchable. I don't need to work on anything. And, going against this, I underestimated him. I was like, oh, he's not going to be able to do nothing. He can't stand with me. He can't strike with me. He's not going to be able to keep walking me down like I'm going to try to walk him down. And, just getting in my head constantly, God sits in the background and just looking at you like, oh, for real? Okay. You're not going to train like you should. You're not going to, take the right preparation precautions for this fight. And, I went into that fight and I just wasn't myself. I wasn't prepared for the takedowns. I wasn't prepared for the pressure. I wasn't prepared for, this guy being able to take so many hits. And, since that fight, I've been able to, keep myself humble in preparation for each fight, making sure that, hey, who cares? It doesn't matter who this guy is. It doesn't matter how good or bad I think he is, it's a fighter. They're fighters, and we're all professionals. And they're making they're making a game plan for me. So it'd be stupid for me not to make a game plan equally or better than theirs. Being prepared for each fight.
In talking to you and meeting you for the first time, you seem like a really cool, calm, collected cat. This is a good milestone for you here in your career. What do you feel like you'll be the night of the fight? Are you a nerves guy? Do you feed off of the energy? What do you think you anticipate you'll feel like the night of the fight?
Because of my last fight, I was at Combate, and Combate does like a closed sanction type of thing. I used to think that I was like an energy guy. Oh, I love the crowd. I love when they're screaming my name, when they're just screaming when I hit somebody hard. Because previously I was with LFA, and they had a really big venue, and I was a bunch of people there, and I was like, man, I love this feeling. And I thought going into Combate, because it was going to be a closed venue, only could be a select amount of people there, that it'd be a different vibe. It was a different feeling. But it wasn't. It was actually just the same as it would be if there was a lot of people. I think my game and the way I approach fights now that I've gotten to this level is that, everyone gets those nerves, those butterflies in the stomach. And it's like, it's a different feeling when you can conquer those nerves and walk into the cage. And once you walk into that cage, everything shuts out, and you're just like, man, I'm here now. Let's do it. All the hard work that I put into camp, it's time to show off what I can do. You know what I mean? It's like, let's focus on now. Let's focus on what we got to do right now. Let's get past this moment, and then, let's celebrate.
Have you played it out in your head how that ending sequence is going to be? And I don't know, obviously you don't want to give away your game plan, but can you tell us some of the things you see?
In the beginning, I typically play out the beginning even more. Like, I play out the way that the mat sounds, when the canvas sounds when you're inside, feet, footwork, I play that. I play the way my back feels going, bouncing up against the cage. I do feel like this guy will do a lot of pressure trying to, wrestle me to the ground. If he stands up, well, good for him. But I think his best bet would be to take me to the ground, because he's a black belt, and most of his finishes have been towards pressure. So I think he should stick to his best game plan with that regards to that. So I've been playing a lot around. Again, if he doesn't do that, what if he fakes it and comes back up and hits with an uppercut? And I go down trying to defend a takedown, and I'm meeting an uppercut on the way down, and now I'm getting knocked out. And I'm like, what's going on? Why am I waking up to the referee going like this? You know what I mean? So I play more of me losing than me winning, so that I'm not tunnel vision in the fight when it comes to an opportunity to win the fight. If you understand what I mean.
We do. All right. So Thad, going back to when we started, we said we had a good time with our first guest, 6 a.m. And the reason is because we went outside of it all. We started talking rugby. He started telling us that at one point he played rugby and a little bit of soccer. He was from originally from Scotland and lived in England. How about you, man? Did you play other sports? Before? Okay,
I played football growing up, and I played soccer, a bit of soccer as well. But because I played forward in soccer. I would say middle field in soccer, because it was more of like a low kid leagues game. But I played football in high school, and football has been great. I love football. My favorite team right now. Oh, geez, I don't even want to say it, because I feel like they're gonna break my heart with this right now. But I love the Cowboys. And
oh man.
No, seriously, man. No, but we've been doing this every year.
Yeah, the whole interview, man.
No, man, you get great. We go to the playoffs, and then we start shit. Just now, we just lost to Redskins. Why are we losing to the worst team in our division? That badly. What?
Redskins, you're breaking our hearts. I'm a Commanders fan. He's a 49er fan.
It just hurts my heart. You know what I mean?
It hurts our heart too.
Talking about it just hurts me. Just like, we do so good during the regular season, doing great. We had our second string quarterback in while Dak was hurt, and he was doing amazing. Dak comes back, and it gets iffy. But now, again, like I said, our last game, what was it, 6-26? I believe it was
against the Commanders.
Yeah, it was not good.
Why is you guys know Fitz? You guys the last in our division.
Mm-hmm. They phoned it in. The Cowboys phoned it in. They just weren't there.
Every time during the end of the season, this is what they do to us.
They don't do good on natural grass for starters. Natural grass back east. I had a feeling that they wouldn't cover. I thought they could still win, but I had a feeling they wouldn't cover. But I didn't think they'd get pounded the way they did.
Blown out.
Not taking any momentum into the playoffs. And now the Buccaneers, who at one point was starting to, like really, really blow the whole season, they picked up a little bit of momentum.
Yeah.
So now you got to go in and face Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. But I think you still have like a 12-5 record, man. That's not shabby. The great defense, by the way. But God, you just killed us.
Great corners.
I already had my text ready. I was gonna text Goes and say, "Hey, this guy's cool. We're 2 for 2 today." Tell us you're a stinking Cowboys fan, man. That's our biggest rivals. The Niners and the Cowboys have beef through the 90s, and I don't even have to begin the Redskins and the Commanders' history with the Redskins. You had to mess it all up, Dad.
I haven't been too much of a fan this year because it's been like, you know what? Let me not, because I know the way, like I said, they do it every year. They do great in the season, and then when it comes to playoff season, when it comes around to playoff season time, it's okay. We're gonna fumble everything. We're gonna fumble the bag. Forget everybody who's put money on the game. Forget everybody who's put their life savings or their houses on the game. We're just going to blow it all. And that's why I just I'm not gonna look at it because it's just not good for the heart. It's just not good for the heart watching these football games. It's not.
All right. So you played though? What positions did you play?
Yeah, I played running back. Okay. I played running back for high school, and then I suffered a knee injury. Yeah, so I had to stop playing. But it's all right. But that's how I got into fighting, because knee injury doesn't bother me during fights, during fighting and everything like that, doing jiu-jitsu and striking and everything. But it hurt me during because as running you have to break down a lot, trying to get out of the way, of the defenders and everything. And it's not safe going into pile-ups. Going into pile-ups, the guy in the bottom is definitely in danger. And my knee was not ever safe anymore. So I was like, I had to give up the sport I love, but now I love MMA. So I'm right. It was a fair trade.
So what level did you play? High school, college?
No, just high school.
Just high school?
Yeah, okay. That's when I got injured.
And were you always that tall? Because there's not many running backs that are that tall. Although Eric Dickerson was pretty tall, Anthony Peterson is pretty tall. Derrick Henry's a big boy too.
I mean, Adrian Peterson was pretty tall. Isn't Adrian Peterson 6'2"? 6'1"?
Peterson, I think, was 6'1". Yeah, Derrick Henry's though, he's a unit.
I mean, well, I think I'm still growing. People still saying that I'm still growing now, but I think back in high school I was like probably 5'11". Oh,
okay.
Yeah, 5'11", 5'10". Well, no, 5'11". I would say I was 5'11", and I ran a 4.6. So I wasn't the fastest running back, but I was quick and I was able to power through. So and then that's one of my things.
Aside from that, I'll ask you a real general question. Is there anything you do that would surprise us? Play the piano. You can juggle.
I play the drums
at a time. You're a great, fisherman.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what.
I mean, I do like to go out, but I like to play the drums. I play the drums for my church.
Oh, cool.
And that's something I've been doing, for as long as I can remember. I mean, my dad used to try to get us into piano lessons and everything, but my dad's super hardcore. So, it's not something, if it was not something I love to do, I did not want to go through the headache that my dad was going to put me through with having to try to learn it. So drumming was something I picked up quickly. It was fun, getting to bang on stuff, getting to make a beat. Drumming is awesome. I love drumming.
And are you good enough where, like, if you were at a concert of your favorite artist and the drummer felt sick, nauseated or something, they go, "We need a drummer." I mean, would you raise your hand, or you ain't that level?
No, I'm not that level. That is something else. Yeah, that is something else. That is another level. I mean, especially the nerves you get, I can't put this up. I can't put this up. I can't put this up,
Hey, but wouldn't it be worth it to go up there and you might be bad, but you can say you actually were the drummer for your favorite band because no one else stepped up. The worst thing that can happen is they're gonna go, "Oh man, we need another one," and now it's a funny story to tell.
If that's the mindset, I definitely raise my hand. Like, who gives a fuck? I got nothing to lose. I'm going up there. If they boo me out, who cares? I'm the only one who actually tried it. Yeah, I definitely go for it. If that was
can't be any different from fighting in your underwear in front of millions on TV, right? It could go your way, but it also could not, and you have the balls to do that.
I mean, I don't fight in the underwear. I fight in the trunks more. So
Okay.
I definitely don't. So I definitely don't have the mistake of looking like a dumbass if something happens. You know, someone and you know, fighting in the underwear. You know, I used to get my, you know, people trying to grab me. You know, wiggling them off, and he just pulled down my pants, trunks, locks, and I was like, you know, that's not what I'm gonna do. I wanna actually tie up my pants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That can you incorporate drumming into your victory dance?
I'd beat on my chest.
Oh, there you go. All right.
I'd beat on my chest.
There you go.
I'd beat on my chest. So that's about more drumming than I could do.
Nice.
Let me ask you one last question that just popped in my head that I did ask our other guests as well. Nowadays, you have choices: PFL, Bellator, One Championship, UFC. And if we tie in Anthony Johnson, you know, I don't know if you know this, but so he did fight in the UFC. I'm sure you know that. He fought at Bellator at the very end. I think he got the one fight in. But he also was part of WSOP, which became PFL. So he actually has history in all three. But my question is just, why did you choose PFL? Did you have options? And what was it about the PFL that made you say, I'm going with you guys?
I think it was more of, I am really spiritual with this. And I kind of like God let pieces fall. Like one of my things is that like God is the author to my story and I'm the protagonist and the main character and everything like that. And you know, I don't typically want to make such huge decisions myself. I just go with the flow, you know, whatever comes to me. And of course I did have options. So let me not say that. I did have the options actually to go into, I think Dana White was bringing back Contender Series and everything like that. And my manager did come to me with that option as well. And I was like, all right, you know, keep it open. And then PFL came around and I was like, you know what? Let's pray on it. And, you know, PFL Ray Saffold called and I was like, you know what? That's right there. This is where I need to be. PFL. And then after all of that, guess who comes in on PFL as well? You know, we got Jake Paul who comes into it. And I think that is the biggest step that PFL could have made in terms of, you know, fans watching, you know, marketing and anything. You know, Jake Paul has 20-something plus million followers on Instagram that he could be potentially bringing over to the PFL and to the fighters that are also in the PFL. And with that, he's bringing, you know, a super fight thing. He's bringing more money to the fighters. And, you know, going to the UFC, you know, we are doing this for our family, our friend, you know, just to not have to work anymore. Going into the UFC, there's a possibility that you're still going to be working, you know, a lot, you know, and I don't want to fight top level fighters, get elbowed in the face, cut open, and all the money that I make in the fights is to recovery. You know what I mean? So I'd rather go to somewhere like PFL where they do actually have the tournament style that PFL has brought. I think it's amazing because if you're good, you level up and you actually get to fight. You actually get to make money. You actually get to, you know, fight 3, 4, 5 times in a year possibly. And, you know, not trying to just rank on the UFC, but Bellator, everyone, you know, you're contracted into these promotions and how many fighters do they have? You know, we only know a surface and the main ones, and that's not even scratching the surface. There's so many other fighters that they have to make sure that they fight at least 2 to 3 times a year, possibly. And how much are they getting paid? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great answer, man. That's really, really great answer. It's well thought out, and the fans will really, really dig it. In your division, welterweight, there was a guy named Delano Taylor last year who did the same thing I'm sure you're hoping to do. He was in Challenger Series, and he went to the regular season, made it to the finals, lost to Saturday C, but it's there, it's happened, and there's no politics. You win and you continue.
Exactly.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
You know, you go from Challenger Series to being the PFL welterweight champion, or whatever class you're in, whatever weight class you're in, and that's awesome because your talent and your merit, your hard work shows off. You know, you don't have to wait five years to get a championship title shot. You can, if you're that good, you get it within that year. Delano Taylor proved it. If you can push it, you can push it through, and you can fight, and you can show a good fight. You can make it all the way through to the end, and you know that's what we're all trying to do. And it's cool that he actually did it. And I beat him.
For sure. I want to thank you for the time today. We really enjoyed meeting you and doing the interview. I'm going to give you a 9 out of 10. I don't know if you can see it.
There we go.
Yeah, there's writing on the other side, but it says a 9 out of 10. The reason is you're a Dallas fan. That killed it, man.
You're killing. You're killing.
You're hitting for 10 out of 10, and then you had to throw that in there. Like, I mean,
like I said, I'm not too much of a fan this year because I know what they're gonna do to me, and I want to stay focused. It fucks me up a lot. But like I said,
we'll be cheering for you, not for your team, but we'll be cheering for you, man. It all starts out with Eric Alequin, PFL 9. I hope you guys get down and have a great fight. Thanks for the time today.
All right, appreciate you guys. You guys have a fantastic day.